Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of we are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace.
Good morning
Good morning.
and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Let us take a collective breath together, reaffirming our oneness with the universe and with each other. Our reflection for today is our personal resurrection. We probably don't contemplate this most days, but our resurrection occurs and recurs on the continuum. We awaken. We are on life's journey, learning and experiencing. We are blessed. We are grateful to the God of our understanding. We are thankful for the many whispers in our ears, and yes, the occasional cosmic 2x4 that comes our way. In this moment, I am reminded of Maya Angelou's beautiful poem, Still I Rise. In letting this go and letting it be, I rise, I rise, I rise, and so it is.
And so it is.
Judy, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Don't you want to applaud for a prayer? Good morning and happy Easter, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I've been here, so it's such a great day to come back in on Easter and celebrate with all of you. So this morning, our candle lighter is somebody that you rarely get to see, but shows up to work our soundboard. Please welcome Amy Klein. So we are an interfaith gathering, a spiritual community that honors all teachings and all spiritual teachers. So we're going to begin this ceremony that celebrates the oneness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths come for the one universal presence, which we call spirit. So, our first candle is the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of pristine spirituality. Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We have, it's not as easy as it looks. It will be what it will be. Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. Of course, my favorite new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And then our last candle. The last candle is the healing candle of love, and we invite all of you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone you wish to be included in this healing flame of love and of light. And so now that our flames of faith are fully lit, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. Thank you, Amy. You didn't know I was going to make you sweat today, did you? So our inspirational quote today actually comes from Ernest Holmes, The Living Science of Mind, page 91. If man is an incarnation of God, then his spirit is God individualized. and such, it must be eternal. So if Claire is an incarnation of God, which I absolutely believe you to be, then that means that your spirit is an individualized expression of God. And that you, and you, and you, and you are eternal. What an amazing thing to be reminded of. Thank you.
In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song, all as one, in the name of love. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best till we all are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song, all as one, in the name of love. 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 In the name of love.
That was just beautiful, you guys. Thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause. So good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Easter. So good to see so many of you here today. Thank you for joining us here at the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. And a special welcome to all those who have joined us live this morning and will be watching this a little later in the week. So, we say it every week, don't we? We are all about prayer up in this place, right?
Yes.
So I was talking with a friend of mine this week. How many of you know Lynn and Marion?
Yeah.
Everybody. So Lynn is going in for surgery on the 22nd, a hip replacement. And so today, instead of just talking about prayer, we're going to make it work. We're going to carry her through this procedure. We're going to send all our love and our extra energy to Marion as she helps in the recovery. But this week, let's pray Lynn and Marion up as they go through this medical journey. And you guys, I know that something's got to be going on almost for each and every one of you. And you can have the same power. You can have the same congregation. You can have the same people holding your desires and wishes and dreams and fears in prayer. So make it happen for yourself. Because by praying for each other, we make it happen for us. So you can tap for a 1-minute miracle, yes, right after service. Cool. cool. We've got some practitioners running around, Bob and Robert and Judy, and we have Ann, and we have Reverend Don. So let's make this a praying Easter. We also have the written prayer request forms that are in the back. You can drop it in the box, and it'll be sent out to all the practitioners. And then, of course, because prayer often comes at odd hours, go to our website and send in a prayer request. You know, you don't have to do whatever it is that you're doing by yourself. You have a team. So, cool, yes? Woohoo! And yeah. All right, so our announcements for this week. I am so excited. Next week is our annual meeting. Are you guys excited? Yes!
Welcome back, Linda.
Thank you. I might be a little too enthusiastic about this because it means I'm coming off the board. After 5, 7, 22 years on it, I'm coming off after about 5 years. So, but here's the interesting thing. We have 2 people who have stepped forward to be on our board. One is Joan Heidel. And then Heather Eldred has also stepped forward. But can I tell you a secret? Yeah. Okay. So we need you guys to be here in person to vote them in. We need a, quorum, forum, whatever. We need enough people voting so that they can move into these positions. And so what that means is next Sunday, you're going to come to service, and then we're going to get right into this right at noon and put this new energy onto our board. I'm so excited! Yes! Okay. Now, Tuesday night, I know Judy Wolf has been working on this. There is going to be, it's called the World Peace Project. And it's going to be at Grant Hall Tuesday night. Starts at 6:30 and it goes to 7:15. And it's a prayer vigil. It's a prayer vigil of which all faiths are coming together at Grant Hall on Tuesday night. And so what does that mean? That means that we get to mingle with people of other faiths, but with the same intention. And then afterwards, there's going to be a candlelight vigil. So Grant Hall, don't miss it. These are amazing events. And my last announcement is you all know that from your gifts and offerings, we take 5% of that and we tithe to our community. And so this month, a check will be going to Upper Susitna Food Pantry. And that's you guys, helping out neighbors you don't even know that need help. So, and now, Reverend Don for the minister's moment.
The numbers that we see each week of new cases are still really high. It's like double or more what my goal was for us to reach in order to come back fully and meet together. But the hospitalization numbers remain really, really low. What this is saying to me is that this newest variant, what do they call it, the stealth variant, is highly, highly contagious, but it's not as deadly as the previous strains. It's more like the flu. And so I think it's probably time for us to come back together. And I think that unless there is some big change during the week and something drastic happens and a whole bunch of people are in the hospital and it's really sick, that next week we will meet here. We will have more seats in the sanctuary. We will meet, masks will be optional, and it will be a lot more like we used to be all the time. So that is my moment for the day, today is that next week, in preparation for the annual meeting, we will meet with masks optional. And that's it.
I close my eyes, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling, calling, calling us to rise. Rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. I ready my soul, I clear my mind. I'm here and now, in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise. Oh, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, hand in hand, no turning back, onward to promised land. Do you feel the power of 1,000 suns lighting up the dark? Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, that's why we came. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, it's why we came. Come on and rise. Oh, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, come on and rise. Oh, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me.
Jessica, thank you so very much. And Aaron, you guys work together so beautifully. And for everybody that is watching live on Facebook or later on at Facebook or later on, not here, you know, the microphones are wonderful, all of the technology is great, but it doesn't capture what it is to be here. And that was simply amazing. Thank you both so very much. I don't know how you do it, but Once upon a time, there was a farmer. And this farmer one day got his chores done early and whatnot and decided that he was going to go for a hike. And so he packed up and he went through the woods and he came to the base of a mountain and he started to climb the mountain a little bit. And as he continued on his hike, he looked down and there was a baby bird. And I thought, oh, this little bird isn't going to last out here by itself. And he looked down, he looked closer, and he realized that it wasn't just any bird, it was an eagle. It was a baby eagle. And so he picked the baby eagle up and he carried it home. He didn't know for sure quite what to do with it, so he just turned it loose in his chicken yard, in the barnyard with the chickens. And the little eagle walked around with the chickens and started pecking and bitten grains off the floor of the barnyard. And he just let it go. He didn't pay any attention to it. Well, time passed and the eagle grew and grew and grew, but it continued to wander around in the barnyard, pecking for grain that he threw out. Well, one day a naturalist happened to visit this farmer, and as he was being shown around the farm and looking around, he looked into the barnyard and went, "Whoa, you got an eagle in there with all it." Yeah, he's a chicken. That's no chicken, that's an eagle. Well, he thinks he's a chicken. No, that is an eagle, and he needs to be with his kind. He needs to be soaring in the skies above. He thinks he's a chicken. No. So he bent down and he got this massive eagle. This thing had, wingspan of 3.5 meters. He picks up this eagle in his hand and he said, "Fly, mighty eagle, go into the clouds. Go, soar, mighty eagle." And the eagle kind of looked around, he looked down and he saw his buddies, the chickens down there pecking, and he flopped on down and he started pecking for grain again. And the farmer says, "Told you so, he's a chicken." Naturalist says, "No, tomorrow we will try again." So the next morning he comes and he got this eagle again and he crawls up on top of the building. He gets on top of the barn, he gets way up there high and he says, "Now, mighty eagle, fly to the skies. Go, mighty eagle, rise, fly." The eagle looked and he saw his buddies down there in the barnyard and he hopped his way down and went back and he started pecking. Farmer says, "I told you, he's a chicken." The naturalist says, "I am not giving up." And so the next day he's going to try again. And so the next day he came and he got the eagle. And he carried him back through the woods. And he came to the base of the mountain and he climbed up a little ways on the mountain and he stopped, and it was before sunrise. And just then the sun was starting to come up, and the sun came up over the hill and hit him on the side of the mountain. And the naturalist took the eagle and he said, "Now, mighty eagle, fly, fly, go into the heavens." And he gave him a boost. And with that, the eagle looked around and he stretched out his massive wings. And he started to flap his wings, and the eagle took off. And he soared, and at that moment he caught an updraft, and up he went, up, 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 high and high into the sky. And he got smaller and smaller. And the eagle was never seen again. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Easter to everybody. It's so great to see everyone here today. We have a unique kind of a confluence of things here today. This is all three branches of the Abrahamic tradition have major events going on right now. As well known in Christianity, this is Easter. This is the day when Christians all over the world celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. This is also, I believe, yesterday was the first day of Passover for the Jewish tradition, and they celebrated the liberation of the Hebrews from being enslaved in Egypt, and they celebrate that liberation with the celebration of Passover. And this is also the month of Ramadan, the Muslims, they utilize a lunar calendar instead of a solar calendar like we do, and so their months don't always translate the same. They have 350 some odd days in a year instead of 365, and so their months move. And this year, the month of April, or most of it, is in the Muslim tradition of Ramadan. And during this time, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. They have nothing to eat or drink during the day, and they spend their time in prayer, in meditation, in contemplation, and they look at themselves, and they step away from harmful things in many ways. So there's a lot going on, and I thought rather than doing my usual Easter talk about resurrection and what the symbolism is and all that means, that I would talk about things that are more germane to all three of these traditions. And I didn't really come up with a coherent theme through all of it but I did come up with three words that seem to fit, and that is reveal, release, and rise. And so the title of my talk today is Reveal, Release, Rise, and Repeat. And those are my 3 points: reveal, release, and rise. First of all, reveal. Reveal the spiritual truth. Reveal our wholeness. Reveal our greatness. Reveal our oneness with one another and our oneness with the divine. Reveal our eagleness. It's time for us to stop believing that we are chickens and recognizing that we are eagles and that we can fly. We can go to the heavens. We are powerful. Ernest Holmes said it really well. Ernest Holmes said, "There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine." Another way to look at that is that when that infinite creative force, that divine force, created all of everything, it made all of everything. So what did it make everything out of? It had to make it from something. So the only thing that it had that it could make anything from is itself. And so all of everything is made from God's stuff. So each and every one of us have the DNA of the divine within us. Each and every one of us are little godlings. Some of us are eagles and some of us are chickens, but we are all expressions of the divine. And we all have eagle greatness within us. A lady talked to me not too long ago, and she relayed an experience that she had had. She had talked to me before. Her work conditions had changed. They got a new supervisor. This supervisor had a different way of wanting to do things, and she no longer felt comfortable in what she was doing, and she decided that she would seek employment elsewhere. And so she began looking around and looking for help. And she went to a practitioner, asked for a session, and asked for a prayer to land this specific job. She had applied, she filled out the application, she had her resume, she turned everything in, and this prayer to this practitioner was to land this specific job. And when she talked to me, she was a little disappointed. The practitioner did not join her in prayer to land this specific job. Rather, the practitioner prayed for her to land the perfect job, to land the exact job that she was doing. And the practitioner's prayer went into how the employer was out there looking right now for someone with her exact skills and talents to do And she didn't get that prayer for to get that job. So she went into the interview. She had the interview. It went well. She was pleased. But then she relayed to me, this was on a Monday, on Wednesday she got a call and the employer said that they had selected someone else for the position. They said, but we had another position come open. It's a new position. We don't know exactly how it's going to be structured or what's going to be done with it. It's only going to be a 4-day-a-week position, but the pay is slightly higher than the one you applied for, and we think you'd be awesome in that job. We unanimously agreed the other person was best for that job, but we think you would be awesome in this new job. And they offered her the job and she accepted it. My point in this is that sometimes we need to reveal that greatness within us. Sometimes we need to step out of our chicken mentality and accept our eagle greatness. Point number 2, release. Release negative thoughts and beliefs. We need to release negative self-talk. I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I can't do that. Wrong. We are worthy. Each and every one of us are worthy. The weight of opinion, resentment, judgment, and unforgiveness is enough to make you feel crucified. Release the unholy trinity of blame, shame, and regret. It's time to release it. And release negative beliefs. There is, we call it race consciousness, but there is a belief that pervades our society throughout the world, cultures all over the world, and we fall into this race consciousness of belief. There are many, many examples of how this belief system has held us captive. There was a time when it was believed the man could not run a mile in under 4 minutes. Was physically impossible. Could never happen. And people absolutely believed that until 1954 when Roger Bannister ran a sub 4-minute mile. It was believed the man could never have heavier than air travel. That could never have this thing called an airplane. Almost 8 years before the Wright brothers, it was proclaimed by the scientists of the day the man would never be able to fly unless they had a helium balloon or something that was lighter than air that would be able to hoist them up. A story I heard in my days at GE, and it resonated with me, is I had a trick pulled on me when I was a young man. I was a bag boy at the Safeway store in Golden, Colorado. And I was about my 2nd or 3rd day on the job, and one of the experienced bag boys sent me into the back room to ask the big boss for a bag stretcher. Well, there was no such thing as a bag stretcher, and everybody got a good hearty laugh of that. Well, there were some engineers from the General Electric company at that time who had invented the light bulb, and they knew that if they could somehow etch this vacuum tube, that it would diffuse the light out and it would do a better job of scattering the light. But they had such a hard time of coming up with a coating or something that would enable them to diffuse the light. So they didn't think it was even possible because you've got a vacuum on the inside. They didn't think it was even possible. So as a prank, they would sometimes assign a new engineer the task of coming up with something to frost the inside of these light bulbs. And sure enough, they had a new engineer and they gave him the job of doing that. They were really surprised when he did it. He came up with a way, but we had it in our consciousness. It was accepted that this could not be done. And even another one that's even closer to home for me, this is actually one of my fraternity brothers. At the time, the thinking was that man could not live above 20,000 feet without oxygen, without carrying heavy oxygen bottles. And a guy by the name of Paul Petzold was the first person to climb K2, and he didn't believe that. He went up and established base camp at 22,000 feet and lived for 3 weeks with no oxygen. But we adapt that, we absorb, we embrace, and we take these beliefs in, and we think they're true, and they hold us back. It's just like holding on to that chicken mentality when in fact we're eagles. Third point, rise. Rise above our circumstances and see beyond the world of effects. Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination and proclaims itself through every creative endeavor. It has produced sages and saints and saviors and will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine have disappeared." That is so beautiful. It will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared. Our theme for this month, the overarching theme for April, was creativity. And Karen, remember in the first week, talked about listening to the still small voice. The still small voice. And I submit that that still small voice, sometimes it's a whisper, as we had, and sometimes it's the cosmic 2x4. But that still small voice, regardless of how it shows up, is the birthplace of creativity. Listen, rise. And then the next week, Stevie talked about being your biggest and your best and your most creative self. She talked about Zoe challenging her. I need the big Stevie, not the little small Stevie. And I challenge all of you to be the biggest and best that you can be. Be the big Ann. Be the big John. Be the big Bernie and Sue. Be the big Sam and Claire. Be the big Linda, not the little Linda. Don't play small. Rise. Roll away the stones that have held you back. That holy trinity of shame, blame, regret. Roll those away and rise. One Saturday afternoon, I was working on my sermon for the next day, and one of my grandkids popped in and, "Hey, Don, what you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm working on the sermon for tomorrow." And he said, "Well, that's cool. How do you know what to say? Where do you get your ideas and stuff?" And I said, "Well, get it from God." "Huh. Then ask him you keep scratching out and rewriting and starting again." Didn't have much of an idea there. So, conclusion. What I want you to take away today. It's Easter. We'll get everybody out. You can get home and eat the ears off your chocolate bunny. So this is a challenge. This is what I want everybody to do. Create a new and transcendent narrative for your life based on what is possible, not on what has been. Write a new story of self-love, self-care, and self-expression. Dare to cross out the doubting words of others, the negative headlines, and the dogma of religious fear. Instead of saying, "Why me?" replace it with, "Why not me?" Emerson wrote, "God will not have his work made manifest by cowards. Always, 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 always do what you're afraid to do. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain." Every step we take in growing our awareness of God and our awareness of our oneness with God will lead us further and further from the familiar, comfortable realms of thought and belief. It may feel scary, unpredictable, or nerve-wracking, but this sacred life that you are living is not a rehearsal, and it's not a punishment. Dare to see yourself as a victorious being of pure spirit. Dare to live more than you ever have. And I invite you to reveal truth, release the blocks, rise up, and then do it again. And so with this awareness of that divine presence within us, I invite my colleagues, the practitioners, to join me in holding our congregation, our city, our state, our country, the entire world in love and light, seeing beyond the conditions and knowing that there is a greater truth behind all of it, that there is an infinite creative power in the universe that has made everything. It has made everything manifest. It has made everything that we judge as good, that we judge as bad. It is all the creation of the infinite. And so I speak my word now specifically for those who are experiencing health challenges. And we just simply know that there is a blueprint that is perfect, that is behind all of everything. And so as we go through this thing called life, and we have things like surgeries and knee replacements and hip replacements, we simply know that the doctors, the surgeons are all guided. That there is a greater yet to be revealed within each and every one of us. We know that as we face this thing called COVID, that there is something greater behind all of it for us. And I speak my word for those who are experiencing lack and limitation. We just simply know that we live in an abundant universe, and that we all have now, will have, and will continue to have a warm place to sleep, enough to eat, a joyous experience of this thing called life. The abundance of universe is ours. And I lastly speak my word for those who are feeling separation. Separation from one another and separation from God. Separation from that divine creative force. Simply know that we cannot be separate, for we are all made of that God stuff. We are all part of the same barnyard. Whether we are chickens or eagles, we simply know that we are one. We are part of a larger harmony that is this thing called life. We can never be separate from one another, for we are all made of God's stuff. And we can never be separate from God for the same reason. We are made of God. And so we just give thanks. We give thanks for this magnificent thing we call life. We give thanks for this life that never ends. And now we can just sit back with confidence and know that everything is unfolding in perfect divine right order. We let it go, we let it be, and so it is.
God's mind is working in my mind. I
That's perfect. God's mind is working in my mind. Looks like it was planned. This is the time in the service where we are afforded the opportunity to step into this thing called the law of circulation, to give. I'd like to mention the names of some of the people online today. Judith Mack, Patty McCrary, got the Fairbanks contingency there. Luann Pogue, Michelle Moore-Jones, Michelle Kuntz, Cynthia George, and I know there are others as well. Noted that the recipient of our community giving this week will be the Upper Susitna Food Pantry. That's a really worthy thing. You know, that's essentially Talkeetna, and a lot of people in Talkeetna are closely related with the tourism trade, and they've had 2 years of no tourists, and so I'm sure that any thing that they get will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So if you'll join me in our affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is. Should explain to you quickly why we have 2 baskets, because this is part of circulation. We accept when we do that, and then we have, oh, I threw it in the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong basket.
Perfect.
And then the other basket, please take out an affirmation. So that's what that's for, sorry.
So as we close today, reveal your wholeness, your greatness, your oneness. Release the not worthiness and rise above the world of effects. Write a new story, playing the part of the eagle, and then repeat, because God is calling you. God is calling your name. And so it is.
So it is.
And so our affirmation today, please repeat after me. I reveal.
I reveal.
I release.
I release.
I rise.
I rise.
Because I'm an eagle.
Because I'm an eagle.
And so it is.
And so